about 9 minutes toward the top of the hour on this Friday morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live on the phone, I welcome Sandy Neck Beach Park Manager Nina Coleman. Nina, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
How are you today?
Fabulous. How about you?
I'm doing great. Love these Fridays. So Nina, of course, last weekend had some pretty nasty weather, high winds, high tides, a lot of stuff going on. So tell me a little bit about how the beach fared over the course of the nor'easter.
All right. Well, actually, the story starts the weekend the week before, October 22nd. We had a 3-day blow, which sort of got the erosion process going, and that was out of the north, as they seem to always be lately. It was a little bit more like on the North Shore.
Okay.
And the worst of the weather, but what it did was cause us to have some really big rollers coming in, very impressive rollers that came in late October there. And that sort of started eating away at our dune system, particularly in front of the parking lot. Was very concerned about the handicap ramp. It was kind of an island. And so once that storm passed, we pulled most of the handicap ramp out and stockpile it in the parking lot. And then, sure enough, the nor'easter that you're referring to of last weekend came rolling in. So it's a lot at once.
Absolutely.
And so this latest nor'easter, as everybody knows, was pretty substantial. It was right out of the northeast. The tide came in. Fortunately, we didn't have a huge tide. We had I think it was in the 10s, which is not the highest it could be, but it came in. As I said, we'd already lost from beach and dune, so it came in, and was able to have even more power up against our dune because it was already affected. And particularly in the area in front of the upper lot is where I have my most concerns at this point.
Indeed. So, looking at the pictures, we can definitely see some erosion there. Now, obviously, I think that, every winter we do and every fall we have some storms, we have some high tides. This is a pretty regular occurrence. Is that safe to assume, Nina?
Yeah, certainly. You look at the historical data when you look at erosion and accretion. And so CZM has maps that show, over 100 years, or I can't remember how many years, but it's a substantial amount. It's always tempting to look at what you have right now, but the bigger picture is more like a geological time. And in those maps, we've definitely have a fairly stable beach for Cape Cod. It comes and goes, it comes and goes. We have big events like the blizzard of '78. We lose a lot, and then she heals herself back up. And so that shoreline is always changing, but it's not just always going. However, we're in this trend of these north storms. We certainly have, sea level rise and effects from climate change. And so at least we're in the trend of just losing right now. And the last 2 years, it's just been storms out of the north, and those are really tough on us. So as you may recall, we did put quite a bit of sand on that dune last fall,
right,
in December, knowing that we were in trouble. And it's technically considered sacrificial sand. So instead of the tides coming in and taking the parking lot, it comes in and takes the sand, and so that's why it's called sacrificial sand. Some of that material is still there, but not enough to get us through another bad winter, which it sure appears is going to be another bad winter. We're on this trend again.
Absolutely.
So we're right in the middle of scrambling to get some more material on that beach to get us through this winter of 2014, 2015.
Okay,
and so we hope to do that within the next month.
Oh, great. Okay, and that was going to be my next question. Was that something that you kind of already had in the plans, was to do some nourishment, or is this because of the storms that we've had?
No, we definitely were planning on it. We're just having to tighten the time frame because who knew we were going to have that many storms by November 1st. I mean, that really was not something you could predict, right?
Exactly.
We were kind of shooting for, the wheels of the government turn slowly. There's a lot of steps involved to secure the funding and get the permits and all that. And so we were sort of shooting for around the first of the year, but we do have to push that because of the emergency situation that we're in. If we get another big blow out of the north, certainly the parking lot would potentially, parts of it might be in jeopardy, and of course the septic system is up in there too, and we don't want to mess with that. So we're pushing to get that sand on there, like I said, as soon as possible, ASAP. And then we've had in the works for a number of years. Our next move is we're in the process of hiring a firm for design and permitting of what's called softscape, which is hopefully less sacrificial. It would be big coconut rolls or some sort of material that would potentially be using nature to our advantage to hold that dune a little bit more successfully. So there'd be plantings, there'd be coconut rolls, there may even be some big sort of pilings if the regulatory agencies would allow us. It all depends on what they'll allow us. Right. But to get something in there that has more structure. And that is all in the works for not this winter, but the following winter.
Great. So something that would be a little stronger and not be eaten away like that sacrificial sand, something that might be able to take a beating a little bit more than just sand. I would imagine tricky and probably a little more expensive than the sand, too.
Considerably more expensive. We are, while we're moving forward with design and permitting, we're also applying for grants for that to supplement it. It's called coastal resiliency. Is a big buzzword right now, which is communities dealing with climate change through sort of innovative approaches like that. So there are funding sources out there, and we're trying to go after everything we can to supplement that, what would be a pretty costly project.
Great. Well, Nina, I thank you so much, as always, for joining us here on Barnstable this morning. Hopefully we won't have to talk too much more about storm damage as the winter goes on, but you never know.
You never know. And yes, and I'll come and talk to you after we get the next pile of sand on there. So
perfect.
Everybody will be up to date and we can get through the winter, not worrying too much, at least for this year.
That's great. All right, Nina, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk with you again very soon.
All right, take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nina Coleman, of course, is the Sandy Neck Beach Park manager. Lots going on out there at Sandy Neck, and really they have to make sure to protect that wonderful resource.
Absolutely.
Mother Nature is a tough competitor, though.
That's right.
She's very strong.